Hello everybody. Let's go north, we said. Yep, Tom mainly. Let's go north. 2,000 k's, it'll be a real adventure. Tom, did you just want to pan around at the, at the situation? Yes. Does this look like a caravan park, folks? Does it look like a caravan park? Can you see any showers? I guess when we get going, I'll tell you the story. But welcome to day two of our 2,000k adventure north, and let's hope that day two is nothing like day one. The first bit was good. We didn't film the first bit because we've taken you before. We went up the Gibraltar Range to Glen Innes, and then we fueled up, had a coffee, and went over to Inverell. We were running from weather, stormy weather. We were running from that. So that weather played a big part in the day as time went by. And I certainly hope we're not running from weather today. So we'll take it up from Inverell when I get on the bike. It probably won't be too scenic. We're out at Whoop Whoop. Billa. Well, you may as well say Whoop Whoop. And we'll take it up from there. It's a pleasant day. So if we make it to our next stop, we'll be limping it. If we make it to our next stop, we will be limping it because we both have no fuel. See you after. Well, folks, video number 2. Now, we gave you an introduction to, a brief introduction to the first day. Now, that was Tom having a look to see if it was recording. Now, on this very slow trip to a place called Mooney, I will go through the events. Now, it was pleasant for a while. So I think we took you to Inverell. Yes, well, we stopped at Inverell, and just before I get into that, there's a story why we're shopping at Inverell, and it's a really, really nice story, and I don't think I've told you in the past. When we were travelling to Newcastle for me to get my P plates, our first night we stopped at a place in Ebor, and at the pub, and like a motel, hotel, and when we were in the bar having drinks and dinner, we met some lovely people, and they were also on bikes, and we got talking about my Riker, because there was a husband and wife, and she was in a sidecar on, I think, a Ural. I think I've pronounced that correctly. And she had an interest in being able to ride, but like me, on 3 wheels. And we talked about it, and the next morning I slept in, of course, but she had a little ride on my bike. And we said our goodbyes. I think we exchanged the website. And months later, I received a messenger from her saying that she was very excited and she bought one and obtained her L plates, and she was absolutely loving it. And it was really, really exciting. So time went on and they were travelling. They're right down near Wiseman's Ferry, I think. They were travelling north and staying in Grafton for a night. So we met up for a meal at the pub on Sunday night, and it was really, really lovely. We were so thankful to see them and to know how excited she was about having her Riker and riding it. And we were talking about the not having like a cruise control, and she was telling me that she had a throttle rocker and it assisted her quite a lot. So when we were in Inverell, we went shopping, walking, and we found a bike shop, and lo and behold, don't know whether you can see my little throttle rocker here. I'm still finding my way with it, but yes, online may be cheaper, but it was $10 for a piece of plastic. But anyway, that's the story, and safe journey to the two if they're watching. I don't normally mention names without permission, so I won't say names. But really, really lovely. And she said I encouraged her and she was thankful, and I was thankful that she'd bought a bike, and I'm sure her husband was thankful, so everyone was happy. But anyway, yes, so Inverell. We were running from storm rain. The sky was black. I'm just negotiating this here. And it was spitting at Inverell. We walked around, but not enough to get soaking wet or anything like that. We left Inverell. No, we weren't suited up for the rain. And I'm trying to remember that trip. I think it was all okay. The road, we're out back, so they're not major highways that we're on. We're cutting through the middle of things, you might say. They're not major highways. So some of the roads are a little bit, how's your father? So I won't say they're fantastic. Fortunately, yesterday the kangaroos gave us plenty of notice that they were crossing the road. So we didn't encounter a close-up of that, thank heavens. Now we came to the T intersection, and it was still a little bit early days because we had planned on staying at a place called Yetman. In hindsight, one wishes they knew what was going to happen, but we had the choice of turning right and going about 3 or 4 k's into Yetman, or turning left and going to Gundawindi. The sky was black. We decided to go left and go to Gundawindi, so I suited up. Tom decided not to. I suited up in full wet gear, and we took off. Well, it wasn't the rain on the way to Gundawindi, it was the wind, and we were going along ploughed fields to the side, so we were being pushed, and the dust off the fields was whooshing over us, you might say, and the little tumbleweeds were just all around us, getting stuck in the bike. And there was tumbleweeds, so we pushed on through that into Gundawindi, thought this will be easy, this will be nice, pulled into an area that was undercover and started to have a bit of a look at where we could stay. We thought, well, we'll stay in a pub because it was raining at that stage and we were undercover waiting for the rain to stop. So we commenced looking for pubs. Oh no, the fellow said, I'm sorry, we're fully booked. He said, you won't get anywhere in town tonight. And we thought, oh, there must be a function, there must be something happening. So we phoned another one and they said, oh, no, sorry. And Tom said, well, what's happening? Is there something on? He said, no, it's just workers and the way it is. Motels fully booked. Now the caravan parks all had shut their doors at 5 o'clock, and 2 of them said that they'd call back on a message, and of course they didn't. So we're riding around in the rain. It's getting dark. Nowhere, absolutely nowhere to stay. And I said to Tom, well, what if we can't have a shower, but what if we find a free camp that's safe? I had wipes. And he said, well, we'll have to do that. So out of Gundawindi we go in the rain. And it had rained enough that there were big puddles, huge puddles on the road. And it was quite dark at this stage. Letting trucks go by. Oh, that's a big one. And Tom had sighted the first, on Wiki Camps, he had sighted the first free camp. It was what you call a gravel pit. Now when we were in the caravan, the gravel pits were fine. You'd pull up behind a, great big pile of gravel. No one knew you were there, tucked up, nice and warm, a barrier from the noise. So we limped along and there's this massive big area that's a gravel pit. Well folks, the smell, I thought we were inside a sewer. It was absolutely vile. We said, oh, we can't stay here. So there was, 15 k's on. No, sorry, backtrack. We looked at each other when we pulled into the gravel pit and I said, guess what forgot to do in Gundawindi? And he said, fuel up. I said, yes. So we weren't going back, and we thought, well, what we'll do, we'll go find this other one 15 k's on, and when we'll go back into Gundawindi, like this morning, the next day, and we'll fuel up. And we had a little bit of sparkling water, 500ml bottle. Mine was nearly empty and Tom had one. That was going to go boil and make some coffee. That's all the water we had. So we had no fuel, no water in our fuel tank. Anyway, 15 k's became very, very long, extremely long. We had trucks coming at us. I now, as you can see, have a low fuel. Now it's telling me every now and then low fuel. My range has gone away. I did have a range, it's gone away. So I might be in trouble. And I remember going through this puddle that I didn't know was there, and it was just a full-on hit with water. Luckily I was still suited up, Tom wasn't, so he was pretty wet. And the trucks, they were throwing water at us. I was mildly terrified, I will tell you, very mildly terrified. So where the 15k night stop was, we don't know. And we kept going and we kept going and we kept going, and we came finally to a place called Billabilla, and there was this big rest stop, thank heavens, and where we have just been, where we have left. But we didn't have a meal. We did have a freeze-dried meal, but we had no water to add to it except for our little bit of sparkling water. Now they had toilets, but you had the old peg on the nose to get to the toilet. To go in the toilet, you needed a peg. I didn't have one. They weren't flushing. So we got that was fine. I had a push button for a light, and I had a head torch. Anyway, fortunately, we bought at the supermarket before we left. We bought some sachets of rolled oats, honey and cinnamon. No, honey and brown sugar. So out came the little primers and the milk. We both drink soy milk, so a carton of soy milk, and we cooked up our little rolled oats, and we had some fruit in jelly. So that was dinner. Because the water, it didn't say it was non-potable, but at the same time we just didn't want to use it. So we got through that. Ma and Pa kettle, I tell you, setting up the swags. Clothes, we were soaking wet, or well, Tom's clothes were. My jacket that I'm wearing is quite an old one. Well, for some reason or other, it had decided to not be waterproof anymore. So my front had been all wet. Oh, folks, I tell you, in your 60s doing this. Now, how stupid can you get? Anyway, finally, Tom strung a clothesline up. We hung up. We were undercover. We hung up our clothes. We ate. The swags were set up, and we took ourselves off to bed. Now, there was a truck had stopped in, and it was refrigerated, so his motor was going, and we said, no, he'll go soon, that'll be okay. He's just probably grabbing a few hours. Well, he was there all bloody night, wasn't he? But I have allergies. I take a tablet that has a little bit of a knockout. It helps you to sleep, and I think because of that I was able to grab a decent night's sleep. Now, I did get up in the night to go to the toilet. I couldn't hold it, and I walked over. I turned the light on, and I didn't have the peg for the nose, but I turned the light on, and I didn't like the fact, because they weren't flushing toilets, that people left lids up on them, because I thought, well, flies or anything. So I turned around and I put the lid down, and it flew off. The whole lid went flying across onto the concrete in the cubicle, and then the light went off, so I was standing there in the pitch dark. So I went over, found the light, because I didn't take my head torch at that time. I found the light and put the lid back on, washed my hands thoroughly, went back to bed thinking, oh, my hands are still, so I dug around and found the icicle in my handbag and sprayed myself with icicle. Oh dear. And we slept, and as you know, you saw the campsite. Well, once again, we fiddled around all morning. We fiddled around all morning. I swear it was, honestly. But now we're on the road, and we have to make it to a little place called Mooney. I think I did have a range of about 50 k's, and Mooney's a bit more. and Tom had a range of 70 k's. So the plan is I run out, he keeps going and brings me back fuel, but that would mean me on the side of the road somewhere, because we don't know when this thing's going to come to a halt, hoping that nobody abducts me. Now, you know, I'm in my 60s, I don't think they will shit. But anyway folks, that is the story of day one, and it's warm today, no rain. It's quite pleasant going along, a little bit warm but bearable. And we have to pull over because going nice and slow seems to conserve our fuel. We have to pull over for every car that comes up behind us, because they're thinking, well, why the hell are they going so slow? Who goes 60 k's out on these roads? 60 or 70. Not a lot to see out here, quite flat. So for anyone that doesn't know, we're in Queensland now, so we did gain an hour in time, admittedly. So it's fairly flat, and lots of cattle trucks, grain trucks. So we're out west. There we go, Mooney, I wish it was Mooney Beach down near home. 38 k's. Will I make it? Will I make it? Will Tom make it? What if we both don't make it? Oh, I must say, a very nice man came along this morning to the site to have a little chat to us, and he had plenty of water, bottled water, and he gave us some water. And that was great. It was still water, not sparkling, and we were able to have coffee. That was a dead pig, a boar. We were able to have some nice coffee. I know it sounds really, really stupid that we forgot to get fuel. That was just plain idiotic. But in our haste to try and get accommodation or get out of the place, we just totally forgot. Never do that again. We couldn't get proper phone service either last night, so couldn't really tell the family where we were.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, you're catching us up here at Roma. We've got a little bit further to go, and look at Wendy, she's really packed up, and we are both fairly spent. We've fueled up here. I'm probably going out the wrong exit, but anyway. Now, I think the last we were talking to you was when Wendy was leaving the camp. I don't know where I'm going, I'm just not talking and concentrating in my case doesn't work. I've only got enough blood for either brain or mouth, but not both. Okay guys, I'll get myself organised. Okay, here we're coming into Roma. It's been a very hot day and going along the back roads of Queensland. It's not the most scenic, so we haven't really recorded anything. It's just the same scrub, 1 kilometre after the other. So we've just stopped there at Servo. We've fueled up, had a coffee, and we've got just under an hour to go to get to Injune, which is a caravan park we're going to pull up in. We've already rung and we've definitely got a spot, unlike last night. I'm sure Wendy told you about the whole debacle. Now I must say I have a very sore backside. Thankfully Wendy's backside's not that bad. This seat on this bike is not conducive to, let's say, long hours in the saddle. But we're coping. Well, I'm coping. So a fairly big town, Roma. It's sort of a bit of a hub for the district. Every other little town around. Oh, there's a lookout up there. Wow. That's called the Big Rig. Oh, there you go, that's written there. That'd be a good tower to climb and have a look around. Yeah. Every other town around here, it's a blink and you'll miss it type affair. Maybe it's got a hotel and a service station, but probably not. They're all very, yeah, they have got a service station and a hotel at least, but they're all very small towns in the district, so everyone comes to Roma if they want to do any sort of shopping. I need to do a bit of shopping, but I won't be stopping here to do it. Fuel was a good price, same price as on the coast, if not cheaper. Not quite the case at other little towns along the way, they were pretty dear. So a lot of industry around here, you know, your tyres and mining stuff and blah blah blah, mowers. Okay, we're going to be turning right up here and heading toward Injune. Okay, exit stage right. Bottle trees. What else have we got in Roma that's interesting? Let's say that's the main street down there to the right, or on the way to the main street. Looks like it crosses it down there. Ooh, warm, very warm, folks. Yeah, down there's the main hub. I think Wendy was telling you guys, or she says that she was telling you about, we were hypermiling the last after camp. What on earth is that? After camp this morning, we both had very little fuel because we're stupid, but it was a bit of a frazzled affair in Gundawindi, we must admit. Raining and anyway, she told you all about it, I'm sure. And I didn't think anyway, I just thought we were going to go out of town a bit and camp and then come back and get fuel, but then we couldn't find we did find the first camp and it stunk. Kept going, and by the time we kept going I thought, well, let's see if we can get to Mooney. Let's see if we can get to Mooney. So we sat on about 60 k's an hour for about 50 kilometres, and we both made it. And I suspect I still had a litre or so in the tank, but I'm sure if we sat on a higher speed we would not have made it. But it's very embarrassing when someone comes up behind you and you're doing 60 on the highway. Now, that didn't happen too often, thankfully. Not very busy. Mostly just trucks. road trains actually. Oh gosh. When they were coming past us last night in that rain, every time they came past we got water blasted. Oh gosh. It was like someone throwing buckets and buckets of water at you. I got off the bike at that little rest area and I was dribbling. Not because I'm old, just wet, really wet. Nice horse. Well guys, we are going to zoom our way up to Injune, get into the caravan park and get set up and hopefully have a good night's sleep. It wasn't too bad last night, but I kept waking up a lot every time there was noise, and there was a semi-trailer park there that had the fridge motor running all night, making horrible noises. It was too. I thought it was going to explode. Anyway, so let's hope tonight's a bit better, but look, it's been okay. It's an adventure. That's what we set out to achieve, have an adventure, and we're doing that, that's for sure. No major breakdowns. Very dirty bikes. Very sore bums. Especially mine. But we're okay. So that's good. Alright folks, thanks for listening, thanks for watching. And we will update you further up the road. Better get up to speed here. Welcome back folks, we have just arrived at Injune. All I need to do is find the caravan park. There we go, there's the rodeo. Very much of the same on the way from Roma to here. Just scrub, just that. Lots of it. Here we go at 50 now. Caravan park. Oh, this way. Surely not. There we go, I'm already lost. Retirement village. I'm going to have to look at a map. Pull over here for a minute and find out where we are. Alright guys, that's all for day 2. I lost the rest of the footage going into the caravan park, so we'll catch you up and let you know what happens on day 3. Cheers.